Hey, Theo here with a commissioned speed paint. Turns out that Meta, from Facebook to Instagram and all the way to the barren wastelands of Threads, won't let me opt out of having the things that I upload be taken to train AI. So, with the grim march of machine-made content continuing, I would at least prove that I am not a replicant by recording the artistic process as often as is feasible. Don't even get me started on X. Anyway, so while this painting is whizzing by in the background, I'm going to talk about a powerful digital art technique that you could employ at home. If it's not working, start again. One of the great advantages of digital art over traditional media is the limitlessness of the resources. Okay, well, the software is getting more expensive with monthly fees, and you do need some pretty pricey hardware too, and electricity doesn't grow on trees either, but you don't have to pay extra every time you start a new canvas or switch colours. You can't run out of burnt umber or cadmium yellow. In traditional art, each brush stroke is a commitment, and not just financially either, as reversing an ill-made mark is time-consuming and sometimes unachievable. There's a reason that restoring old paintings is generally left to experts. In comparison, digital art doesn't punish one's mistakes. You can undo immediately, overwrite, or even lasso and minutely alter a segment after each gesture. Theoretically, you can keep working until a piece is perfected. No mistake can't be corrected with enough extra effort and focus. But is that actually useful? Is it even appropriate for every piece? Spoilers, I think the answer is no to both of those, but we'll get there. At university, I remember coming across some nature studies by Caspar David Friedrich, and immediately recognized each life drawing of a stony outcrop or of a tree was an individual element in one of his paintings. They were practices, a warm-up for the real deal. Of course, preparing as much as possible before committing to the, hopefully, final canvas. For traditional art, it minimizes the risks of a catastrophic failure. And when materials are pricey and not forgiving of mistakes, why not do a creative warm-up? One can, and I probably should, put this into practice for digital art too. It's best practice, but sometimes if you aren't going to do the best practice, you can at least do the next best practice. Now, for a long time, my approach to digital art was extremely unsophisticated. The most prep I'd do would be to do loose layout sketches until I thought it was good enough, and then just knuckle down and push through the problems as they'd emerge until a piece was finished. Often spending hours working and reworking a single area, pushing and pulling, trying to get closer and closer to something that works and looks the way it does in my head. If I were savvy, I'd have combined the layout stages with robust color iteration and experimentation, considering color, value, and context in combination with the composition and subject positioning. But I'm not that savvy, and I still make mistakes. And what do I do if I've screwed something up? Maybe the shadows aren't falling naturally on a character's face, the contrast isn't quite popping as I'd hope it would. Maybe I can spend hours fiddling and working into it. Maybe I can fix it. But instead I say, if it's not working, start again. If something doesn't look right, just cut it out and start again. If the colours aren't doing what you'd hoped, block them into the background and make a new base. It's quicker to get it right the second time than it is to perfect the first attempt. Painting, digital and traditional, can be fast as hell, even if you haven't sped it up to 100 times the original speed. And you can get back to the point of make or break faster than you'd think. Make big choices, big changes, and see how they look in the context of the rest of the piece. And if it's still not working, try again. It's easy to get bogged down in the sunk cost fallacy, but the way I look at it is that you haven't wasted time when you decide to start an element again. You've learnt what not to do. You've learned something just by doing it wrong once. If you persevere fixing a fundamentally flawed element, all you're practicing and improving is your ability to patch up a bad job. By starting again, you're learning how to lay a good foundation, which makes all the detail far quicker and easier. Since I've stopped worrying about sticking with perceived progress, I've gotten better and much faster at painting. And the faster you can work, the more mistakes you can make, which means you can learn from those mistakes more quickly too. Just in this speed paint, there's several elements I started from scratch after the push and pull of detail wasn't shaping up. The base colours of our flying hero, the shadows cast on the giant in the clouds, And this doesn't even include the many terrible attempts at the basic composition, or the photos I took precariously balancing on one foot with the other in the air just to get a pose reference. I am by no means an expert at digital painting, if that wasn't obvious, but I am really proud of the progress that I've made in 2 years of casual practice. And I'm now determined to continue to fail, as that gives me the opportunity to try again and succeed, which to me is the clearest proof of progress. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.